like I said, I'm going to give just a minute to for people who are joining, the people who are still joining. Just some things while we're waiting for people. On the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see that there's a chat box. Feel free to chat there. And there's also a question and answer section where we'll be answering questions later on in the call. Feel free to say hi. I'll send a message so everybody can see what I'm talking about. Hello, welcome in to everybody coming. Hi, Melissa. I'm gonna give it just another minute. Sometimes it takes people a minute to get into this call, into the webinars. How's everybody doing? We're halfway through the week. Just today and 2 more days left. We got the weekend.
As much as we want the week to go by quickly, the summer months, we don't want it to go by quickly. So at least for us.
At least for you. Me in Alabama, I'm ready for summer to be over with. I've been like that since the end of June. It's been miserable this summer. So, all right. So we'll go ahead and get started. So hello, everybody. Thanks again for joining. We'll let people in as they are coming, but we're gonna go ahead and get started so that we can stay on time. So my name is Megan. I'm the customer specialist with HeyGov, and with me I have Justin from Workhorse and Christy from the city of Mineral Point. Christy was a big part in why HeyGov and Workhorse integrated, and she was really patient with us while we worked out all the kinks. And so today we're just going to chat with her about that process and how her city uses the integration. And yeah, so before we get into that, me and Justin are going to give a brief introduction to HeyGov and Workhorse. So I'll go ahead and let him get started.
All right. Hey, thanks, Megan. So yeah, for those of you who may know Workhorse or are new or don't know about us at all, we are a municipal focused software company. Next year will be 40 years for us. We are a business that focuses on small to medium-sized municipalities. We are one that, with that, we have cities, villages, towns, utility, sanitary districts. We even have a couple counties as customers. So we kind of run the whole gamut within the realm of municipality life. With us, we service customers when we say small to medium size, that can be all the way down to around 100 in population, if you're going to go by that, all the way up to around 15,000 or a little above that within our customer base as of today. So we kind of fit the needs of that whole gamut. With us, our two big key cornerstones as a company is our commitment to our support that we provide our customer base, as well as kind of simple and easy to use products. So that's kind of the two big cornerstones from us. And so we know everybody isn't either an expert or an accounting expert or that sort of thing. So we try to make our products pretty intuitive and easy to use. So with us, we are one that values our customer input. And so our enhancements and updates, a lot of those do come from our customer base, which we always love hearing from. Today, we are just over 300 plus customers across the state of Wisconsin. We are a company as of today that focuses within the borders of the state of Wisconsin. And our focus is that, which again helps us to focus on the needs of municipalities in Wisconsin, because there are obviously certain things that are unique to Wisconsin versus other states. So today we're talking obviously about Christy and her story in Mineral Point, and kind of the bigger focus is from our end is on our utility billing module, but we have a full product suite that meets all the different needs that a municipality may have. Some of those we don't have, which is a nice crossover with HeyGov, where they have some things that we don't do today that they do, and which bringing the two of us together at a municipality is a great solution. So it's kind of a high level, just brief overview of Workhorse, and so now you guys can hear a little bit more about HeyGov from Megan.
Yeah. So HeyGov was actually born out of the COVID pandemic when we realized that not a lot of municipalities have online services. And so that really caused a lot of issues during the COVID pandemic when people weren't able to meet face-to-face as much. So we work with municipalities to bring services online, like online payments, which includes utility billing, tax payments, and just miscellaneous payments in your municipality, as well as bringing your licensing and permitting processes online, online reservation, citizen reporting, and really we can help you out with any services you're wanting to bring online. Our headquarters are in Door County, Wisconsin, and we were started by Dustin Overbeck, who's also the founder of Town Web Design, if you're familiar with them. We won first place in the Wisconsin Governor's Business Plan in Information Technology in 2022, and we're currently used by over 250 municipalities all over the U.S. Like Workhorse, we work with municipalities of all different sizes. So from the smallest to, we can really handle much bigger municipalities than we could a year ago. We're currently working with a municipality that has over 50,000 residents. So from the smallest to the bigger ones, we can handle it all. All right. Christy, would you like to give a introduction to yourself and your municipality?
Sure. So I'm with the city of Mineral Point. We are located in Southwest Wisconsin, about halfway between Madison and Dubuque. We have about 2,500 residents here. I've been city clerk for a year and a half now. I was deputy clerk for a year and a half before this. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to share our experience with HeyGov and Workhorse. It's been good.
And we appreciate you for sharing your experience.
Yeah.
All right. So now I'm going to go over a couple of frequently asked questions just before we get started, so that you have those handy. So the first one, how much will Workhorse and or HeyGov cost my municipality? So the cost is going to be dependent on a variety of factors. You know, Workhorse and HeyGov have different structures for their pricing. So just email me or Justin after the webinar, and we can get you some pricing information. And I'll have our contact information at the end. What's the fee when my resident pays their utility bill online through HeyGov? So the fee is 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction for credit card payments. ACH is a little bit different. It's going to be, I think it's 0.8%. And if they come in person to pay, I think the fee is like 2.4% plus a nickel. Can I schedule a one-on-one demo? Yes, you can. So just, again, email me or Justin afterwards to set one up. Would love to do a one-on-one demo with you and kind of show you more of the back end and how it works, since we won't be going over that today. Does HeyGov accept all payment types? Yes, we accept payments from all major credit card companies, debit cards, and ACH. You can also log cash and check payments in HeyGov to keep everything in one place. All right, now that we got that out of the way, if you have any questions throughout the rest of the presentation, again, just feel free to drop it in chat, question or in the question and answer box, and we'll be going over those close to the end. All right, so now that you know us a little bit better, let's actually talk about the integration. So integration that we're referring to is the one that allows HeyGov and Workhorse to communicate with each other so that residents are able to pay their utility bill online. So if you use Workhorse utility billing software, it's going to feed that data into HeyGov so that they can view how much they owe. And today you're going to hear from Christy and the City of Mineral Point's experience with that integration and how it's increased their efficiency. So let's just get into it. All right. So Christy, maybe you and Justin can kind of chat about your experience with Workhorse first, and then we can go into more of your experience with HeyGov.
Yeah. So it's my understanding that we were the first municipality to integrate with Workhorse through HeyGov. Is that right, Justin?
Yeah. Yep. You are the lucky guinea pig, if we want to say that. You're the one that brought us together and are the one that kind of paved the way for the rest of the customers that are using it as of today. So because we do, it's not just you now, it's others within the customer base. So yep.
Yeah, I think it's going well so far. I mean, there were little hiccups in the beginning, but I think that's expected with you guys not having working with HeyGov before and being
and that's the thing. There was some, to be quite honest, to everybody, but Mineral Point was I want to say unique a little bit with some of their more IT technical setup that allowed us to work through those. So now those are in place for anybody else that may run into that. But from a setup standpoint, that is now that way has been paved for you. So I guess one question, a little bit, Christy, and for your process and everything, what kind of were you guys doing prior to HeyGov, and what did that look like? And were there some pain points or something that said, hey, maybe today you were, pre HeyGov, I believe you were using a different online payment vendor, and just kind of what was that story from we were in this spot and now we have moved over to HeyGov. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so before HeyGov, we were using PSN for credit card payments. And one of the biggest things for me coming back into this job was to make things more relevant to current times, make things easier for the residents and for ourselves in the office. So with PSN, we didn't offer a in-person credit card use, which I feel like nowadays most people only carry credit cards, debit cards. A lot of people don't carry cash or check anymore.
Yep.
And we were getting a lot of requests for paying with credit card. And we'd have to send them away and tell them you can do it online, but you can't do it in the office. Sorry, you just came down here and wasted your time, but we can't help you with that. So that was one of the big pushes for switching over to HeyGov. I think the fees were very similar with HeyGov and PSN, so that wasn't like a big issue for us.
Yep.
But we were very much in the dinosaur ages before.
Sure. Yeah.
Before we made the switch.
Yeah, and that's one thing as Megan kind of alluded to a little bit, just talking a little bit about HeyGov. Obviously, with our integration into HeyGov from Workhorses with our utility billing module, but have you guys also kind of take advantage of collecting other payments or some of the other product suites of HeyGov with reservations or licensing that was also part of that, perhaps?
Yeah, so we are doing utility, we do licenses, we do our park shelter reservations on there. So we've really made our website more user-friendly in the fact that people can go out there and they can fill out a form. And if it's a form that requires payment, they can pay right there. They don't have to worry about printing out this form and dropping it off at City Hall with a payment or mailing a payment in later. They can do it all right there in one step. And I think people appreciate that here. I know that we do because it saves on foot traffic and paper and all of that stuff.
Right.
We utilize the Hey 311 too, but we haven't gotten a whole lot of use with that one yet.
Yeah. And how did you first hear about HeyGov?
I think it was the Northern Training Conference last year that I went to in April or May. It was up in Rothschild, I think.
Yes, yeah. Where me and Dustin are presenting, right?
Yeah. Yep. And I went to the breakout session and I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what we need. And I came back and I sold it to my administrator, and we had to wait a little bit for budget purposes, but we made the leap.
And how was the experience from like getting set up with HeyGov once you started that process, like once it was approved?
It was good. We worked with Atanas to get things set up, who is really funny and he's great. And if you guys ever have to work with Atanas, he really likes dad jokes. So make sure you have a good file of dad jokes to send with every email, because he'll send one back. But it was really good. I think we sent him all the forms that we wanted online, turned into electronic forms, and he kind of whipped them up. And I feel like it was like a day or two that they were all out there and just waiting for us to say, yep, we can go live with it.
Yeah.
So it was really easy.
And what are some of the different forms that you guys have online?
I gotta look because we have too many of them. We have our liquor license forms out there.
Mm-hmm.
We have automatic payment form for our utility billing. So if somebody wants to set up ACH payments through the city, all they have to do is take a picture of their check and send it, and it's the same as sending a voided check. We have a committee and commission questionnaire form if somebody is looking to be on a commission that we have. Dog licenses, pool passes we put out there this summer, water and sewer utility application, and moving out forms. Those are what we have out there right now.
Okay. And so let's talk a little bit more about the utility billing integration. Maybe you can kind of walk us through what that process is like for you guys, how it works, like from getting it from Workhorse to HeyGov, and then getting that information back over to Workhorse.
Yeah, so in the beginning, like we said, there were some hiccups, and so it was a little bit more painful in the beginning, but I think now that we've worked all of those kinks out and Workhorse is running smoother with HeyGov and HeyGov's running smoother with Workhorse, I think it's very seamless. It's just like I said, the growing pains of being the first ones to do it, working out all the kinks and knowing what you need and what you want. But right now our system is very similar to what we had with PSN, I think, where we just need to go out, download the file, and upload it into Workhorse, and it brings it all over. It's really simple to do. I'll be honest, I don't really do the utility payments. We have a utility clerk who does that. But she says it's very easy. It's very smooth. There's no hiccups anymore. If there are, they're very minimal. And it's as easy as emailing Atanas or Justin or Francisco at Workhorse, and one of them is able to help us out and get everything worked out quickly. But it's really simple. It doesn't take a lot of time to bring the payments from HeyGov into Workhorse for us. So that's nice. It's a time saver. We're not manually entering in all the payments and all of that. So I think it's going well.
And do you guys use the feature where you can feed the payment information from, or I'm not sure if you know, because of the utility clerk, from HeyGov into Workhorse, like where it just automatically sends the payments over, or are you guys still exporting the files and importing it?
So it's funny you asked that, because I am pretty sure that Atanas set that up for us where we can get the automatic syncing. And I actually asked our utility clerk yesterday if we were doing that, and she said, well, all I have to do is upload this file. And I was thinking, but I think we can just do it automatically now, but I haven't touched base with her on it. So I know that we have the capability to do it, but we're not utilizing
But she just doesn't mind uploading the file.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will get her to get it to automatically sync because she's only here for 2 hours a day anyway and doesn't have a lot of time here, and it would be better use of her time to have it automatically sync than to have those extra steps of going in and uploading regardless of how quick and easy it is.
Yeah. And how do you find the reconciliation process to be with HeyGov at the end of the month?
That was kind of a tricky thing to work out for us, but I think we've got a good system in place because we're taking payments for more than just utility bills in HeyGov, and they're both receipted differently in Workhorse. It was a little bit of trying to figure out how can we try to separate in the reconciliation a pool pass payment versus a water bill payment because they're receipted into 2 different modules in Workhorse and a very different process. So right now, the way that we do it, which is a little bit tedious, and I'm hoping that at some point we can maybe find a better way to do it, but it's working for now and I don't want to mess it up because it's working. We pretty much go through our bank statement and look to see all of the HeyGov deposits, and then we compare that to the deposit tab on the HeyGov Pay site. And we just kind of list out all of the utility payments that are in there and anything different that's not utility. So that way, if there's a deposit that's made in the bank for $2,100 and maybe $1,500 of that is utility and the rest is pool pass or park shelter or something like that, it's not going to show up as a $2,100 deposit in Workhorse because they're receipted in 2 different areas. Right. So that's where we have to try to break it out a little bit. And so that way, if we can just list out all the different utility payments, we can add those up, and more times than not, it equals one of the deposits in there. And then we just have to check everything else off. But that's a little bit tedious, but I have my deputy clerk who actually breaks all of that down for me. So when I go through to do the reconciliation, it's all pretty much there and ready to go. And I just need to add up all the things to get the calculations moving. So we're getting there. Hopefully, my hope is at some point we can figure out how to either separate the utility deposits from the rest of it or merge them all together in Workhorse and make it one so that it's easier. But
we should chat about that. I actually have some ideas, but after the call.
Yeah.
And is it easy for you to figure out all the information, like when you're working on the reconciliation, like what the payments are and who paid and everything?
Yeah, so on the deposit tab on the HeyGov Pay, if you click on the amount, it'll tell you how many payments are in there. Sorry, I keep looking at my other screen because I'm looking at the pay screen so I can see. But it'll tell you like there's 9 payments in there, and if you click on it, it'll give you the names and the account numbers and how much each person paid. So it's easy to go in and break it down that way, and then we can just run a spreadsheet from Workhorse of all of our utility receipts that breaks it down that way, and we can kind of go in and compare and see when the payments were posted, and that kind of helps us get to a date to clear out in Workhorse.
Yeah. And maybe you can walk us through like what it's like from the resident side, like just in your words, like when the resident goes to pay.
Yeah, so we had a little hiccup there at the beginning too, just trying to get, at first I don't think the account numbers were coming up on HeyGov, and so we had Atanis add everybody's account numbers. So now if people go out to pay online, they can search by account number. Right now it comes up as account number and address, I think, but if they enter in their address, it doesn't come up. So we just tell them to enter their account number and their zip code, and that's it, and their accounts come up fine. So once they can actually get to their account, they don't have an issue with making payments or anything.
Yeah. And when they do search their account, you're able to view, just for a little bit more information for everybody, you're able to view a breakdown of the bill. The residents are able to. So if it's like water, sewer, whatever's in that bill, they'll be able to view the breakdown and the total. And then just a payment portal where they can enter in their credit card information. It'll have the amount pre-filled.
Yeah, it pops up basically at the same thing as the bill that they get in the mail or in their email. And then at the bottom of it, it's a button that says pay now that they click on.
Christy or Justin, do y'all have anything else to add about the integration or anything else to do?
Yeah, on the integration side, no, I was just gonna say, have you, and maybe I'm jumping ahead, I should probably look at the agenda. Shame on me, everybody. But how has adoption been with your residents, like since you rolled it out, and to kind of where you are, and even just big picture wise, between PSN and HeyGov, the payments that you're taking? Has that changed? Has it been about the same? Has there been an increase? Obviously, you're able to leverage the license and the rentals and that sort of thing, which is obviously a value add win. But, has there been any change in that, I guess?
I don't think so. The biggest piece of it was the people who had auto pay set up through PSN. We tried to send a note out ahead of going live with HeyGov and canceling PSN to just let people know we're switching platforms. If you're set up through auto pay, it will be pulled through this date. After that, you're not going to have your payment pulled anymore. Of course, we know how people read the inserts in their water bills. So some of them read it, some of them didn't. But I think for the most part, people it's been good. It's been well received. We still get a few people who say that they tried to pay online and it says that they're not able to, but they're still going to PSN. So once we can make them aware that we have switched over back in February, then they're okay with it. They just need to know where to go. I think another thing that people probably miss is the ACH option, which I know, Megan, you said in the beginning, there is the ACH option with HeyGov, but we don't utilize that yet.
Okay.
Well, we can get you started. Okay, yeah, because I know we had talked about it at one point, and
so we were doing. We
talked about it with Atanas at one point. And at that point he was like, "We don't have it yet, but we're working on it."
Yeah, we just now finished getting the ACH set up. So
perfect, and we do offer ACH through our office too.
Yeah, I was just going to say, not to steal HeyGov's thunder, but that is obviously something that Workhorse does offer natively in the product. Obviously, you have to work with your FI for, but that's something that if a customer wants to sign up for that, we have that.
Yeah, just to
recap, it's been well received.
Yeah, just to recap what Justin just said, you can do ACH through Workhorse, but we're also going to start allowing the option for ACH through HeyGov as well. So either or works.
Which obviously there's value either way from the HeyGov side. There's the hey, I want to do my utility bill plus maybe I have a license or some other activity that I'm doing that I want to do all in one payment. So there's
So there's a couple questions in the chat that are asking about the fee percent. I don't know what it is off the top of my head if people come in the office, but we have it up by our credit card machine. At the end of this, I can run over and look at it and let you guys know what we have.
Yeah, I was trying to, because I think I might have misstated what the percent was for in-person transactions. I think for in-person transactions, it's 2.7% plus 5 cents, and I can put that in chat.
Yeah, it's less for in-person than it is for online payments.
Yes. Just so everybody has that. I know that I do have a Southern accent, so sometimes it's also hard to understand me. All right, so just for another overview of what we've been of the integration. This is essentially how it works in very simple terms. So the utility bills are synced to HeyGov from Workhorse, and then residents are able to pay remotely. And then from there, all that payment information can automatically be synced to Workhorse, or you can have it where you manually import it. Either one works. So just in the brief terms.
Yeah, and I know there's been a handful of chats of, hey, demonstration webinar. that's where, Megan and I would love to follow up with you guys. And then also, I would think, Megan, we could probably share one of the prior recordings of the webinars that we've done that has also essentially demonstrated that process. Today, obviously, our goal was to highlight Christy's story at Mineral Point, but those prior webinars that we did that actually went through is an option that you guys we can try to get back to you, and then obviously to talk about your unique situations. Each of you that kind of have put a comment out in the chat and probably the Q&A section as well. That's where we'd love to meet with you individually and go through things as well. So
yeah, we're definitely willing to do one-on-one demos. And then we also have, like Dustin said, recorded webinars that we had done previously that walks through all of the steps from the Workhorse side and the HeyGov side. So we can send you that afterwards when we can do a follow-up email, and we'll include a link to one of the pre-recorded webinars as well, or previously recorded. All right. So next, we're actually
Sorry, Amy asked the question, can residents set up auto payments through HeyGov that's tied to a credit card?
We don't currently have auto payments that's tied to a credit card through HeyGov.
Okay.
And we're actually moving into question and answer, so we can take everybody's questions.
perfect.
Shame on you for not looking at the agenda, right, Justin?
All right, so let's look through these. We've answered some of these, I guess, as we've went along, but I might reiterate some. If they pay in person using card, is it the 2.9% plus 30 cents or the lower fee? It is the lower fee of 2.7% plus 5 cents. We have, is there a cost for Workhorse and HeyGov? There is. HeyGov and Workhorse have different structures for their pricing. I'm not sure what theirs is. Ours is very dependent on population, what modules you would like to use, and things like that. So you can email me afterwards and email Justin for Workhorse pricing, and we'll get that to you.
Yeah, but if you have work there, obviously there's a cost for both products, but the integration between the two, obviously there isn't anything there.
Yeah, there's
not to state the obvious, but I'm just gonna state it just because I might be that person.
Yeah, no. Let's see. I'm not sure if this was answered. What is the population of Mineral Point?
We're about 2,500.
All right. Can you still receipt separately instead of automated? If this is through HeyGov, you can receipt separate. You can have everything separated into separate departments, and you can either do manual deposits into your bank account or automated deposits, if that answers your questions. But you can have everything separated out with deposits or with different departments where it's doing separate deposits.
And then Christy, this is one for you. I think it came through. Do you guys have pooled cash for accounting? I think you guys do have pooled checking.
Yep, we do.
Yeah. Okay.
And I already answered this, but just so it pops up, can residents set up auto payment through HeyGov that's tied to a credit card? We don't currently have this feature. We do hope to have it in the future, though. Oh, the same thing what I just said. Is HeyGov looking into auto payments? We have a large percent of auto pays. We are looking into it and trying to get that set up. All right, let me go through chat and see if there was any through chat that messed up. I missed. So, do you guys see any that I missed?
See any that you missed?
Anybody have any other questions for any of us? I think we have answered all of them.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Feel free to keep sending questions. I'm going to go over and just kind of review what we've talked about. I don't want it to just be me though. All right, there we go. So just as a little review, Christy from Mineral Point was one of the first ones to use this integration between HeyGov and Workhorse. And in its essence, what the integration does is it feeds that information from Workhorse into HeyGov, where residents are able to view and pay their bills. And then from there, that information can feed back into Workhorse. HeyGov and Workhorse also offer a lot more than just utility billing. On the HeyGov side, just for a recap, we also do online licensing and permitting, online reservations, online resident reports, and we also have a new feature called Clerk Minutes if anybody's interested in automating their minute-taking process. And maybe Justin can go through some of the other things that Workhorse offers again.
Yeah, so just from a recap, obviously we're kind of highlighting the utility billing aspect, but from a Workhorse standpoint, we have our, kind of our bigger product suite is our, utility billing module, but then we have municipal accounting, payroll. We have some other products for taking in or sending out bills, miscellaneous billing, which is going to be updated in the coming year here replaced with a new product that we're pretty excited about. But like we have things for cemetery to fixed assets, special assessments, the whole gamut. So from a Workhorse standpoint, obviously the focus was utility, but in those payments, but like Christy, she's obviously taking in different sorts of payments, and that's something that we're looking at, hopefully figuring out a good method to bring in those other payments into our accounting module, hopefully in the near future, as time and resources allow for that additional integration. But yeah, it's good to hear that Christy was able to find a solution that met kind of internal needs from the municipality's standpoint to make life easier for them. And your guys' time is special and a limited resource. And it also allowed residents to do additional functions in the office with those reservations and licensing and all of that. So take the paper process of it out and automate that, which I think sounds like was a win for Christy, which is great.
Yeah. And just a little bit more of a recap. Once those payments come in, just because I forgot to mention this, whenever you're doing the reconciliation process, you are able to break down the deposits in HeyGov, where you can view what all transactions were in each deposit, as well as who paid, how much they paid, and what they paid for.
Yep.
And let's see, I saw a couple more questions come in. I'm gonna put on the screen for our contact information. So if you want to email me or Justin or even Christy, here's all of our contact information. So feel free to take a screenshot, write it down, and we'll go and continue looking at chat and answering questions.
Yeah. And that'll be sent in a follow-up too. Sorry, Megan, I was just going to say information recording will be sent out in that. So you guys will, if you don't have time to write it down, that'll be provided.
You'll receive an email from us that has our contact information as well. I noticed that someone was talking about the in-person credit card terminal. I do have one here handy with me. This is what it looks like. It has the tap to pay, swipe, and then the chip reader as well. And that connects directly to our HeyGov app.
The only tricky part about that is that it has to be connected to a computer that is connected to your Wi-Fi.
Yes. If you don't have Wi-Fi in our office, there is an additional, I'm not sure what it's called, thing that this can sit on that can feed into an Ethernet cable. So,
okay.
Can the fees be deferred to the user rather than the municipality? The fees are paid by the resident, the credit card processing fees. Yes, the card reader is a one-time $300 purchase. And if you have like multiple people in your office that would like to use the credit card terminal, as long as the computer is connected to Wi-Fi, you can use it at whatever computer. And if there's anybody who needs to leave, we're going to stay here and answer questions for a little bit. But thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate your time. We also appreciate Christy very much for joining us and talking through the process and what it's been like for them.
So Val, just to answer your question about what percent use the payments in Mineral Point, I don't really know. If I had to guess, I would probably say 25%-ish maybe right now. But I haven't looked into it or anything yet.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's, I would say, pretty impressive if you're reaching that realm. Obviously, each community and whatnot is different depending on demographics, but no, it's great.
Yeah.
So.
Good. Said we'll stay here and answer any questions if anybody has any more. But again, thank you guys for joining, and just look out for that email from us, follow-up email. It is being recorded, Liz. We'll send out the recording to you after it's over.
Sorry about that, Liz.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think I don't have exact numbers, but anybody that's just kind of hanging on here, I'm sure people are going to start dropping off. But I think we're up to, is it like about 8 to 10 mutual customers? I'm probably way off, but maybe Megan, you may know this, but yeah, I know. I think
I know it's around 10.
Yeah, so
we've had a lot of people. We've had a lot of people sign up just for the utility billing integration between Workhorse and HeyGov within the last 3 months.
Yep. So
and trying to get everybody set up with that who's signed up. It's actually a pretty quick process, isn't it, Justin?
Yep. Yeah. Especially since Christy paved the way. She took the hard road so everybody else could have the smooth road.
Yep, we got all the bumps and bruises for everybody.
So you guys can thank Christy.
Yeah, I think you can be up and running in a matter of days. It's not like a matter of weeks, as long as you're available to communicate with us.
Yeah. It was okay though, because like I said, Atanas is really funny, and so doing Zoom calls with him every other day to try to figure out everything, he would get so mad at himself for things, and it was funny. And we'd redeem ourselves with dad jokes.
Yeah, he just cares a lot.
He does. He's great.
On the reservation side, can more than one photo be added? Yeah, you can have as many pictures as you want in the like for each reservation or for each venue.
We've got a few pictures per shelter, and you could go to cityofmineralpoint.com and see what it looks like there for our shelter reservations if you want to.
Yeah. I like y'all's, how you guys have it displayed on your website. It's one of my favorites. I show it a lot in my demos. Oh, she already did. All right, we're going to hang out for just another minute. Like I said, thank you guys again. I'm going to keep on thanking you for joining. I appreciate all of you and your time. I know you guys are all very, very busy. All
right.
So Megan, one thing I want to ask.
No, you go ahead.
And we had talked to Atanas about this too, but with our shelter reservation,